Hope everybody's doing well. It's like a Luke Skywalker moment. Hi, everyone. We're going to be talking about Cologne's question. And his last part of his question is this. After solidifying the basic components of a rock funk groove, how would you practice creatively within these? All right. So let's talk about that. Creating grooves, it's something that, everybody tries to improvise. Of course, I try to improvise on the spot, but sometimes you need to be able to come up with things to play and kind of, understand some language beforehand so that you can draw on those pieces of vocabulary. And what I'm going to explain today is a way that I come up with grooves, funk or rock, 16th note based grooves that I've never played before, and how I can kind of be creative and come up with the grooves, and then play something that I didn't get off of a record, or I didn't get from somebody else from a book. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by 3 steps, and the first step here is to be able to create a skeleton between the bass and snare. The bass and snare is going to be the skeleton of the groove. So we're going to see that in just a second. Okay, so we have just made a skeleton here. This is the bass drum. This is the snare drum. So this is the basic skeleton that I want in my groove. I want it to sound like this. 3, 4, boom, boom, ga, 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 boom, ga, boom, ga, boom, boom, ga, ba, ga, boom, ga, boom, ga, boom. Okay, so far, this is not anything super new. It's not like this has never been played before. This is just the first step. The second step is going to be to fill in the ghost notes on the snare and possibly on the bass drum if you want some other additional notes on the bass drum. So let's see how that looks when we fill in the ghost notes. Now, what that means is I'm actually just filling in whatever notes that I want. But the idea here is that I'm coming up with a groove, something to play, not by what I'm hearing, but actually more from what I'm writing. And then I'm learning it from what I'm writing. So the idea is that we can actually develop some vocabulary here that is not from something that we've heard, that is actually coming from somewhere else, to give us more of a chance of, having a groove that's really unique, that actually somebody hasn't played before. And that's what we're trying to do here. Okay, so here I have filled in some other snare notes, and maybe I'll put in another bass drum note too. How about this one? I like the sound when bass drum plays with the snare drum. I think that's a really interesting sound, and it's not used that much. So the next step, this is the third step, is to add the hi-hat or ride pattern. And so this is one that you can get really creative with, and again, it can be really anything you want. We're going to make it pretty standard, not super complex for our purposes here. So let's try this. And let's change a little bit there. Okay. So the ride or the hi-hat pattern is, and let's say that's going to be on the hi-hat, and I will want to make that an open note and this an open note. All right. All right. So now you have the groove, and of course you can always tweak it. So let's go over to the kit and see how this sounds. All right. So the way that I'll really want to practice this at first is one component at a time, or actually I should say 2. So you have the ride or hi-hat, that's with my right hand, the snare, and then the bass drum. That's all I have. So I'm going to try to practice 2 together at first, and very, very slowly. So here it goes. I'll practice the right hand and bass drum together. bass and snare together. 3, 4. And now we'll do the hi-hat and the snare. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here is everything together, hopefully. 3, 4. So that's how you're going to go about doing it. Remember, you can be as creative as you want to. That's just the more creative you are, the more you have to slow it down and really learn it for what it is, you know, and really just take your time learning that groove. But that's how you can do it. We'll next week we'll explore another one.